Have the roll call, please.
Council members Devine.
Here.
Friedman.
Here.
Garpetian.
Here.
Sinanian. Here. Mayor Najarian.
Here. Councilmember Friedman, would you lead us in the flag salute?
Yeah, I invite you to rise and join me in the pledge, and as you do, please reflect on what these words mean. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for this evening's invocation. Between September 15th and October 15th is Hispanic Heritage Month in our country, time for us to recognize the numerous contributions to our society and great nations that citizens and immigrants who share the common Hispanic heritage have provided. The first Hispanic U.S. Supreme Court Justice, Sonia Sotomayor, once remarked that, quote, "You cannot value dreams according to the odds of their coming true. Their real value is in stirring within us the will to aspire." Tonight we pray this evening for wisdom and strength to face numerous decisions before us and working towards the dream of building a city in which all residents thrive and aspire to realize their dreams. We pray for the safety, stability, and guidance by which we may grow and prosper as one great community. We pray for all of this for those less fortunate than us and for peace here and around the world this evening and always.
Amen. Mr. Clerk, may we have your report?
The agenda for the September 29, 2015 regular meeting of the Glendale City Council was posted on Friday, September 25, 2015 on the bulletin board outside City Hall.
Thank you. And next item, please.
The presentation and appointments at 3A is agenda previews for the meetings of Tuesday, October 6, 2015.
Thank you. Ms. Beers.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, John Tuktalian, Deputy City Manager, will read that into the record.
Good evening, Mayor Najarian, members of the City Council. Next week there will be one item on the Glendale Housing Authority agenda, and that'll be from the Director of Community Development regarding authorization to issue a request for a proposal for an affordable senior housing development on Housing Authority owned property at 5th Street and Sonora Avenue. In the evening during the City Council meeting, there's a number of consent items. At 4B is a report from Public Works and Community Services and Parks regarding the Civic Auditorium exterior improvement project. 4C is a report from Glendale Water and Power regarding a contract award for E2 power systems for the unit number 2 full static excitation upgrade and appropriation of funds for that project. At 4D is another report from GWP regarding main transformer repairs at Glendale Grayson Power Plant. And then for our action items, there are 6 of them. At 8A is a report from Human Resources Department regarding unblending medical insurance premium rates between active Glendale City employees and retired city employees effective June 1st, 2016, and the authorization of subsidies for existing retired employees currently participating in the city's retiree medical insurance plans who meet specific criteria. That report will be followed by a report from the City Attorney's Office regarding code amendments related to Internal Audit Division and a motion authorizing GTV6 to televise the Internal Audit Committee meetings, as well as another report from the City Attorney's Office regarding alternate project delivery methods for public works construction projects. At 8D is going to be a report from Public Works and Community Services and Parks again regarding Palmer Park site improvement projects. At 8E will be a report from the police chief regarding offering of rewards in response to hit-and-run incidents. And finally, the report from the city manager's office regarding the analysis of project labor agreements for public works projects.
Okay, thank you very much. Next item, please.
Next item is presentation by Glendale Rotary of Jewel City Ride proceeds and mayor's commendations.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council members, and City staff. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Armin Kalafian, and I'm the president of Glendale Noon Rotary Club. A few months ago, we completed our Jewel City Fun and Fitness event in City of Glendale. And it's an event that we brought more than 250 community members together. The community enjoyed bicycle events, walking, hiking, food, music, and bike safety. We were very successful, and we raised more than $30,000, which we supported 4 4 beneficiaries from the community. And the beneficiaries were YWCA, ARC Family, Police Activity League, and Walk by Glendale. We would like to thank Walk by Glendale on collaborating with us on this project. We also like to make presentations to these beneficiaries. I'm just going to ask everybody here to introduce themselves, and then I'll have Elizabeth and Larry Tyson make the presentation.
My name is Elizabeth Manassarian, and I'm the past president of Glendale Rotary Club. And this is Larry Tyson, and we have our Rotary Club members, Glenn Passmore, George Cycley, Jerry Tomsick, and we have our beneficiaries, Justin Klein, Melina Sardar, Michelle Roberts, and Oscar Rodriguez from Police Activity Leagues, and I think I covered everybody. So we'd like to present them with certificates, and we've also presented them with the checks already in our club because we knew they really needed the funds. So we'll give them each couple of minutes to say what they've done with their organization with the funds. So we have the first one. Larry, you want to present them with a certificate, please?
Yes, the first, it's my pleasure as a past president of the Glendale Rotary Club and also as the current president of the foundation, make these certificate of recognition awards. We're congratulating all 4 of our awardees tonight for their recognition of their commitment to the public service, because in Glendale Rotary we believe in service above self, and we wish them continued success. So tonight, the first beneficiary I'd like to give a certificate to is the YWCA of Glendale.
Thank you. Thank you.
There you go. You're official.
Thank you. I'm official now. As they said, thank you to the Rotary, all the Rotary, and all the community volunteers that participated in this. It really means a lot to us. We really appreciate the community support, and we really need the community support. Without donations like this, we wouldn't be able to operate our shelter and the other crisis services that we do for victims of domestic violence and their children. So thank you on behalf of the YWCA.
Thank you. Our second certificate of recognition goes to the ARC Family Center. There's your certificate.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Melina Sardar, and I'm representing ARC Family Center. Dr. Edward was not able to be here. And just want to reiterate what Michelle said. Thank you to Rotary. Thank you for being nominated for this. And it was a very fun event, and our members definitely, those who participated, really enjoyed it. And the funds, of course, also for us to be able to serve the youth that we serve with programs that focus on emotional intelligence and social skills, as well as just direct mentoring and guidance. So we appreciate this. Thank you.
Our third certificate of recognition goes to the Glendale Police Activities League, also known as PAL.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, honorable members of council, my name is Oscar Rodriguez. I'm a sergeant with the Glendale Police Department, and this is George Cycley from the Glendale YMCA. Fortunately, the Glendale Police Department, along with the City of Glendale and the YMCA, and also the members of the Rotary Club, they've assisted us in continuing to support the youth of Glendale and providing them with at-risk youth programs. And we're running right now the boxing program out of the YMCA with George. It's a great program, helps keep these kids that are on the borderline of getting into trouble or staying involved in sports. It helps us continue that effort in keeping these kids out of trouble, and it's something I've done for a long time, and we've had a long-standing commitment for that, so I appreciate it very much. Without these valuable donations, those kind of programs wouldn't exist, so I thank you very much. Thank you.
I'd like to take note that these last 3 beneficiaries were each given a donation of $5,000 apiece. It's not that we don't appreciate Walk by Glendale, but we didn't have a lot of money left, so they got a donation of $1,500. But maybe next year we'll get the full amount. So, Walk by Glendale, this is yours.
Rotary, thank you very much. My name is Justin Klein. I'm the 2015 Vice Chair for Walk by Glendale. And the support that you gave, or share with definitely goes a long way. I know a couple weekends ago we put on a bike rodeo. We had this was in conjunction with Dignity Health, but these funds definitely helped enhance some of the helmet giveaways and things like that. We had over 75 children participate in a 4-hour block of time, so that's really good for us. And I also wanted to say we constantly have events happening. The next one coming up, I believe, is on October 24th, and that's the Zombie Walk. And that's a really fun one. So it's not just bicycling, it's walking also. So if you guys are available, I recommend to come along. Anyways, thank you again very much for allowing us to partner with you guys, and we look forward to doing this again next year. Thank you.
So our next year's event is to be announced, but we're hoping with your support and maybe partnering with the city, we can make this event a lot bigger. We have 250 people. We're aiming for 500 or more. So we'll let you know when the next event is, and we're not gonna stop until. The idea is to support every community organization in the community. So.
Thank you. And we don't want you to go home empty-handed. I have a mayor's commendation presented to the Glendale Noon Rotary, and it's on behalf of the entire city of Glendale and the city council, and we express our sincere appreciation for your fundraising efforts at this year's 2015 Jewel City Ride. And your commitment and support to keep this event alive and thriving is exemplary, as well as is your sharing of those proceeds and distribution of those to well-deserved charities in the city. Now, my big decision is, do we keep this as a Rotary, or do we bring the two sides together?
Rotary.
Oh, give it to Kawani.
We're going to give it to Ms. Divine.
Thank you.
This is a peace summit.
All right.
If you will.
We can all get along.
That's right.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Where are all the cameras? This is the shot we need.
Thank you. Hold on. Hold it right there.
Hold on.
Thank you. I'll do that.
Don't get
Sunrise Rotary will fill in.
Yes.
Yeah, sunrise is quick. There you guys go.
You guys mind posing this way too? We're still with Sunrise Rotary.
Sunrise Rotary, yes. Sunrise Rotary.
There we go. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone. Next item, please.
Next item at 3C is recognizing firefighters for community paramedic certification.
B.C. Rufino. How are you, sir?
I don't know if that's a good thing if you know me by name or if that's a bad thing. I'm going to take it as good. Mr. Mayor, members of City Council, I am very proud today to introduce some individuals that have taken part in a program that is truly above and beyond the call of duty for our Glendale Fire Department. First, I'd like to recognize Captain Todd Tucker, Engineer Joe Donnelly, and Firefighter Gilbert Mejia for becoming the first community paramedics for the city of Glendale. And Firefighter Mejia is our current practicing paramedic, community paramedic that is operating as of today. Also, I would like to introduce Dr. Rotman and Dr. Larman from UCLA. Dr. Rotman is going to come up and say a few words about the program and the training these individuals went through.
Dr.
Dr. Larman's going to go first.
I'm going to go first. My name is Baxter Larman, and I'm a professor in the David Geffen School of Medicine at UCLA, and I also work in the Emergency Medicine Center as well as in the Center for Pre-Hospital Care. And my colleague, Dr. Rotman, also works in the same area and is a professor at UCLA as well. And we're really here to congratulate the city on your fire service and to let you know a little bit about what your fire department has been involved in over really the last couple of years. There's been a national perspective of healthcare, and especially in this healthier communities idea in the United States. And one of the objective is for health communities to partner with their emergency medical services, in your case, your fire department, to augment your primary care physicians in your community, to prevent preventable diseases, to help in overburdening 911 systems and emergency departments, to assist your public health provider agencies and your social services organizations. So 2 years ago, the state of California requested departments that were interested in partnering with academic organizations to submit a proposal to the state of California. UCLA submitted 2 proposals, and we were lucky to get both of those approved by the state of California. So we went out and we looked at partners in the county of Los Angeles, and we were lucky to find 4 partners. Originally, we had the city of Burbank, we had the city of Pasadena, we had the city of Santa Monica, that all decided to be able to be participants in our program. Chief Scoggins had a lot of tenacity and said, I wish to be able to participate in your program as well that you've submitted to the state of California. And I said, Chief, there's just no way. We have no time to be able to do this. And he said, give me a chance. So I said, if you think you can be able to do it in 2 weeks, Chief, go ahead and do it. And we gave him the chance, and he was able to perform. Not only that, but after Chief Scoggins has left, under the direction and shepherding of Chief Fish, and with a significant help from Captain Rigosa, we've been able to move our projects forward. Unfortunately, the city of Burbank and the city of Pasadena are no longer with us in our projects, and so there's really only 2 communities. The city of Glendale and the city of Santa Monica have continued in the program. To let you know, there are only 5 fire departments in California that are involved in this, 2 of which are in the county of Los Angeles. So let you know a little bit, there are 77 paramedics in the state of California that are participating in this community paramedic program. That is 1 paramedic for every 250 paramedics in the state of California. But in Los Angeles, we only had 6 community paramedics, 3 of which are in your department. That makes your paramedics, there's 1 community paramedic for every 470 paramedics in the county of Los Angeles. That's how special these individuals that you have that are here today to be recognized. So we're calling them super medics right now. And Gil is probably the poster boy for all of the super paramedics. So I'd like to introduce Dr. Rotman, who's going to go ahead and tell you a little bit more about the program. But I have to tell you, I have been working very closely with your department lately, and I am very proud of the project that we have. We started within the last 3 weeks. We've gone full bore. Yours is the only department in the county of Los Angeles that's in both pilot projects. Santa Monica is in one with you, but Glendale is in one unique program that is only with Glendale.
Thanks, Bax. So the 3 community paramedics that we're awarding this evening have trained in 150 hours of a core statewide curriculum beyond what they needed to do to become paramedics to begin with. These are individuals who have been practicing paramedicine for years, were recommended by the department and had to be vetted by the county EMS agency in order to be approved to even enter the training program. Once we finished with them at the state level, then we took them here locally to train them in the specifics of the 2 programs that they're working on that are the pilot projects with us at UCLA. So there were an additional 10 days of intensive training. Is that a fair statement? Would you say that was intensive training? With me and folks at the hospital to really immerse themselves in the medicine that they're going to be practicing. The 2 projects are very straightforward. One is an alternate transportation destination project, and this program is for patients who call 911. They request 911 services for care, but who also are very stable. with conditions that can be evaluated and treated in fully equipped, approved, staffed urgent care centers without necessarily needing to go to busy emergency departments where they would have to wait, where the paramedics would be unable to go back into service because the hospitals would be full and they wouldn't be able to turn their patients over to the emergency medicine staff. So part of this is to get the right patients the right care at the right time that will be more effective and efficient for the patients while getting our paramedics back in service for the true 911 responses that they would need. This is all done with the patient's approval. If the patients agree to do this, it's great. If they don't want to do it, it's fine. So this is all with patient consent. So this is one that we think will have an impact on making the 911 service more available to the urgent care needs of the community. The second one is a program that looks at patients who have a condition that tends to wind up being readmitted to the hospital with great frequency, and that's congestive heart failure. This is a condition that's a chronic condition for patients. There's a considerable amount of this around the Los Angeles community. There's even more of it in the Glendale community. And part of the concerns that we have are if patients have a manageable condition and they're having difficulty managing it, they wind up deteriorating and they need to call 911, which requires a response from the department. The patients are no longer as well as they could be, and then they wind up back in the hospital again, which is not a good thing. People should live their lives outside the hospital, and I tell this to you as a hospital-based physician. And so what we did for this particular project is we trained these three paramedics in basically the biochemistry, physiology, and physical findings and pharmacology of congestive heart failure. And once we completed that, they went into the hospital and they learned more about the physical findings. They could see these, they could work with patients, and really look at what levels of care they need to get them ready to go home. Then they go and make a home visit after the patients are discharged during their most vulnerable period of time, within the first few days of going home, to make a home visit to be sure that the patients are within the parameters that they were when they left the hospital, that they've got their medications, that they're taking them, they've got a follow-up appointment, and the ship is sailing in the direction it's supposed to go before things start to deteriorate and patients need to go back into the hospital. So these are the two projects that these three medics are involved in. We think that both of them have the potential to improve the well-being of the patient population in Glendale, and improve the availability of services for the EMS service here within the fire department. So with that, what I would like to do is to call up all three of you guys and present to you both a certificate from us of completion of the training, as well as there's a certificate in there from Dr. Howard Backer, who's the State EMS Authority Medical Director, for each one of you congratulating you for being who you are and what it is that you're about to bring to this community. Todd Tucker, one is for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I would be remiss if I didn't give a special call out to our newly pinned Chief Fish. Chief, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. It's like a proud moment. I feel like the dad, proud of his kids, if you will. This is a great day for the Glendale Fire Department. It's a great day for the City of Glendale, and the community is definitely going to benefit from the knowledge that these three gentlemen have learned over the last 6 months or whatever it's been. It's a fantastic program, and we're excited about this. So
thank you, Chief. We're very proud of the fire department and your leadership and your management team. And this is a great step for the community. As the doctor said, we're very fortunate to have three of the community-based paramedics. And we have certificates that we'd like to also commemorate the occasion with. I'm going to pass that to Mr. Garbetian. That's for Mr. Sinanyan. And Ms. Friedman, if you'd present them to our firefighter, paramedics, and captain as well.
very proud. Thank you so much.
We do have a question.
I have a question from the doctor, if I may. You indicated
ask
that
for consultation, are you?
That's for the next week.
I'm still shaking loose the blood clots that formed on the trip from Westwood up here. It's hard to believe we're in the same county.
That's why we all live down here. You mentioned urgent cares. Do you have any partnership with specific urgent cares? So instead of taking them to emergency room, you take them to urgent cares?
We do actually, and actually maybe Dr. Larman could address those because he's the principal investigator on that particular program.
Yeah, we're, and I'm going to ask Captain Ragusa to be with me, if he could. But we have really a partnership with two of the hospitals in your community, with Glendale Memorial Hospital and Glendale Adventist Hospital, both of which also run urgent care centers. So Region 9 is a Glendale Memorial that we have a partnership with them. And then there are 3 urgent care centers that are partnered with Glendale Adventist. So there are 4 urgent care centers that we would be partnering with 2 hospitals.
Okay, and also you mentioned Burbank and Pasadena, they dropped out or they were kicked out or what have you. But
yes, sir.
I wanted to know what was the reason? Is there a specific reason? Or
to be 100% honest, it was political. The partnership with the hospitals broke down in Burbank. So the primary partner was St. Joseph's Hospital in Burbank, and they decided to withdraw participation in the program. And then we had a problem in Pasadena. Their primary clinic that they had withdrew because they could not be able to have a physician in-house during the full operating hours, which was a requirement by the LA County Department of Health Services. And then the other problem was the other clinic that we were going to use in Pasadena was Kaiser, and Kaiser also withdrew support of the program. So it was really not our doing. It was the partners pulled out.
And Councilman Garpetian, part of this partnership with the hospitals, I got to really congratulate Venice and Memorial. Part of this pilot, and to be part of the pilot, you have to ensure that there's no extended cost to the patient. So in other words, there's no additional charges that they wouldn't get if they went via a regular ER.
Got it.
So that's why those 2 hospitals came forward and offered these, and to basically assume that cost of the patients. And the other cities, I don't think, had that support. And that's why they dropped off. That was a requirement that our hospitals were able to accept.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you and congratulations, everyone. Okay, next item, Mr. Kasakian.
3D is reappointment of Laura Prazian to Housing Authority Board.
So moved.
Second.
Does this require a roll call vote?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. Roll call, please, on Ms. Parazian to the Housing Authority.
Council members Devine?
Yes.
Friedman?
Yes.
Garpetian?
Yes.
Sinanian?
Yes.
Mayor Najarian.
Yes. Next item.
At E is a presentation by Glendale Healthy Communities Coalition.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. My name is Andaye Hill. I'm the project manager for the Diabetes Community Engagement Project at Glendale Adventist Medical Center, and will be sharing the podium with Sharon Townsend in regards to the Collective Impact Initiative. Just to provide you with some statistics really quickly, there are 25.8 million Americans living with diabetes in the United States, 8 million of which don't know that they have it. There's $245 billion annually, which is attributed to diagnosed diabetes, including $176 billion in direct costs and $69 billion in indirect costs, such as disability, work loss, and premature deaths. This is expected to increase by $215 billion in the next 10 years. There are 5 states representing the national cost of diabetes. California leads that in total cost of diabetes spending by state at $37 billion. This is a public health crisis that stretches the healthcare budgets, reduces productivity, and robs people of the quality of life through loss of income, physical disabilities such as blindness, kidney, and what the doctor just mentioned, cardiovascular disease, cancer, stroke, and amputation. The social determinants of health, such as education, socioeconomic status, healthcare, and the built environment have direct impacts on the escalating rates of diabetes. The Americans diagnosed with diabetes has ballooned over 65% in the last decade, and with that, 35% of adults over the age of 20 have prediabetes. The Diabetes Community Engagement Project, for which I work, have screened over 600 Glendale community members, of which over half have been identified as being at risk. From our last community health needs assessment, it was found that only half of diagnosed diabetics are receiving treatment, which is less than LA County. In addition, Glendale's hospitalization rates for uncontrolled diabetes was greater than that of the entire state of California. Furthermore, diabetes hospitalization rates are higher among the medically underserved areas of Glendale when compared to the state. Understanding that we as a community can do more together than we can alone, and we have begun to seek ways of working together collaboratively in order to address this issue. And this is the purpose behind the We Own Our Health, We Own the Health of Our Community, a collective impact initiative for which Sharon will elaborate more.
Thank you. 21 years ago, the Glendale Healthier Coalition came together with city leaders on the hospitals and formed Glendale Healthy Kids. It was something that's going to happen with this collective impact initiative. Today, with diabetes affecting 25 to 40% of people admitted to the hospitals, and currently with one of our 3 children pre-diabetic and overweight, and also with our nurses spending every single lunch break, every nurse at all the schools providing insulin and managing our children's diabetes, we know this is an urgent issue. We're urgent in our call to action for you. We want you to participate as we bring over 100 community leaders together on November the 12th at 5:30 at the YWCA. We know we must, and we have to address the issue of diabetes in this community. You know, as a fireman, every fireman goes through a very rigorous health exam, and every fireman knows their health age as well as their age. And it's something we want every community member to be aware of. We need to get this community healthy, and together we can make a difference. And at this time, I'd like to say thank you for your support. Thank you to this council for your support of Glendale Healthy Kids and Glendale Adventist Hospital. Happy birthday, Yasmin. Happy birthday, Mr. Vauvray. And Laura and Artie, you have a second career looming. Thank you.
Happy birthday, Yasmin.
Is it your birthday today?
What is this?
I'm celebrating all month of October. We're not in October yet, though.
Oh, okay.
You got a few days, Mr.
Well,
Mayor.
maybe we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We can have Laura and Artie roast you at the next meeting. Okay. Thank you very much, ladies, for that information. Staggering, really. 1 out of 3 children is pre-diabetic. Wow. Okay, next item, please.
Next item on 3F is appointment of board and commission members. This was appointment by Councilmember Devine. Nomination was made on September 15th, 2015. F1 is Tom O'Shaughnessy to the Audit Committee.
Okay. Do you have a... How do we do this? Do we
Mr.
nominate? Do you have an official nomination?
Yeah, I just move to appoint
Yes.
Tom O'Shaughnessy.
And I'll second it. And before we take a vote, if I can say a few words, Mr. Mayor.
Well, I'm going to give Ms. Devine the
sure,
first shot
sure.
because it looks like she's ready to say something, and then...
Is it only 5 pages?
Oh, yes. No. He's, Tom O'Shaughnessy is a vet and has a background in finance. He worked with finance and payroll at Walt Disney. He's also reviewed production company and corporation paperwork when reviewing talent as part of payroll. I've vetted Mr. O'Shaughnessy. I've known him for many years, and I know him to be an honest, responsible, and a very smart gentleman. And so I move to appoint him to this position.
And the seconder may have some words to say.
Yes, to those accolades, I'll add the fact that he's also a disabled Vietnam War veteran, and I think we should all be very proud that we have an individual with so many qualities and qualifications as one of our commissioners. Thank you for the nomination.
I'm proud to do it.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Devine?
Yes.
Friedman?
Yes.
Garpetian?
Yes.
Sinanian?
Yes.
Mayor Najarian?
Yes.
And Mr. Mayor, if I
Yes.
may, I would
Yes,
like to...
you have another item?
Yes, I do. I would like to put up for nomination Stephen Lee for the Building and Fire Board of Appeals.
Second.
Okay.
Oh, you're just introducing it.
Place on the
I'm just
agenda for
introducing
next
it, yes.
meeting. Okay. Next item, please.
Next item is the consent items, including minutes following a routine and may be acted upon by one motion. Any member of council or the audience requesting separate consideration may do so by making such request before motion is proposed.
Okay, I have a public request from the public to pull item 4B. Would someone like to move the rest of the consent calendar?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Council members Devine?
Yes.
Friedman?
Yes.
Garpetian?
Yes.
Sinanian?
Yes.
Mayor Najarian?
Yes. Please read 4B into the record.
4B is Director of Public Works regarding the Barnett Wilderness Park Phase 2 project construction bid results. B1 is motion to reject all bids for the Barnett Wilderness Park Phase 2 project, spec number 3567.
Okay, I have a request from Bill Weissman.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council members, City staff, and the public. My name is Bill Weissman from far north Glendale. And because this agenda item does involve the barn in Deukmejian Park, there's something I'd like to tell you about, something that happened just a couple of days ago that kind of is what my commentary is on this agenda item. And some of you may be aware that there was an eclipse on the Sunday evening, the 28th. Sharon and I were down at the Casa at the Catalina Verdugo Adobe for the Fiesta Cita dinner. And after it was over, as the sun was setting, we thought, well, let's drive up into Deukmejian and watch the eclipse going on up there. And as we were on our way up to Deukmejian, went all the way up to Mark Ridge and headed for the entrance to the park. And I realized that the car that was in front of me was also going up there. And as I turned, the car that was behind me also went up there. And then I saw that there were a lot of people walking up. And as we got up in the park, we saw that it was full of people. There was a very large crowd, at least 100, maybe as many as 150 people. It was a little hard to see in the dark because this was right after 7 o'clock and the sun had set. The moon had not yet arisen. And this was not any kind of an organized event or a city event or anything like that. This was completely spontaneous. People from all over the area decided, you know, Deukmejian, that would be a great place to watch the eclipse. And it was very family-oriented. There were a lot of kids there. There were people from JPL with telescopes set up on tripods. Again, not an organized event of any kind, but just a wonderful family-oriented happening going on in Deukmejian Park. Nobody from the city was there. There were no police, no fire department, no parks personnel. There was nobody at all from the city. Just this crowd of families and kids that were up there having a great time, all experiencing this wonderful eclipse together. And in spite of the fact that it was cloudy and you could only intermittently see the eclipse, and the eclipse was already halfway over by the time the moon rose, it was just a wonderful thing to participate in. And we were there for at least half an hour before we left. And I have to say, that's the most people I have ever seen at one time in Deukmejian Park. And because of the fact that the lights were out, which is actually the usual situation, it made it much easier to see the eclipse. So regardless of what your decision is that you make tonight for how we're going to handle the bids and rejecting them and all that, I want you to know it's very important for you to realize that Deukmejian Park is a regional asset that's enjoyed by people from all over the area. And when it comes time to think about the distribution of development impact funds, it deserves your consideration. I know the need is greater in South Glendale, but out of $16 million, surely some of it can be used for completion of Deukmejian Park. We've lived in our house now for 30 years, and the park has been in existence for almost 30 years, and we're patient. We'll wait for the proper work to be done, but please realize that this is a regional asset and it's worthy of your consideration for funding out of development impact funds. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Duran, can you explain why this item is on the calendar? What's happening with the rejection of the bids?
As Mr. Duran is gathering his thoughts, if I can make a few statements. As the report says, unfortunately, the bids that we did receive were much higher than we anticipated. And staff really wants to have the opportunity and the time to follow up and go back to the drawing board and come up with maybe a more streamlined approach to this construction and rebid the item. And this is going to come back on November 17th for discussion with the council with new documents.
So we are going to be still going forward
Yes.
with the rehab,
Yes.
just to make the
Well,
community.
we're bringing it back, absolutely. We're bringing it back to council for consideration on November 17th. So at this time, it's just a simple rejection of bids, nothing more or less, based on the fact that the bids came in much higher than the engineer's estimates.
Okay, would someone like to move the item at 4B?
I move the item.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Council members Devine,
Yes.
Friedman,
Yes.
Garpetian,
Yes.
Sinanian,
Yes.
Mayor Najarian.
Yes. Next item, please.
Item 5 is City Council and staff comments.
Start, Ms. Devine.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sunday, I had the privilege of attending a brunch that was held by the directors and the committee that will be in charge of the Antaeus Theater that we're getting here in Glendale. This is live theater. This is classical live theater. Anticipated opening is in September of 2016. The exciting part is that they announced the lineup for Glendale, and the premiere at the opening, the play will be Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, which is the Pulitzer Prize-winning play by Tennessee Williams. The second play will be As You Like It, and that's, of course, Shakespeare. And they're hoping that they can partner with the schools to use this as a learning experience for our GUSD students. And the last play will be Native Son, and this will be its West Coast premiere. So it's a very exciting lineup, and even though the plays were not written today, they are still relevant to our society. So I hope that everyone in Glendale is as excited about the opening of this theater as all of us are, and the lineup of plays seems fantastic. So let's look forward to September when this theater comes to fruition. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
I do. If they want to go first, I want to pull up
Ms. Friedman?
my colleagues. Would
Just
like.
wanted to acknowledge some of the community events that I attended last week and congratulate the organizers of those events. First, the CV Weekly, speaking of Dugmagian Park, had a really lovely event up at Dugmagian. It's always wonderful to go up there in the evening as the sun is setting, to feel the temperature drop 20 degrees in about a half an hour is always a real relief. And lots of the local business people were up there and community, and so I want to congratulate CV Weekly. They do a really great job with their newspaper. The same evening I was invited to speak about the drought to the Crescenta Valley Community Association, and that was a lot of fun, and I hope that it was an interesting discussion, and I hope that the community took something away, and it was really my pleasure to be able to address them. Let's see. Saturday night. Glendale Healthy Kids did a big gala where Adam Schiff was roasted. It was a fundraiser. It was my pleasure to be able to go and make fun of Congressman Schiff. That doesn't happen very often. I was joined by our city clerk, by Anthony Portantino, Rick Dinger, and Mike Gatto. We were all competing roasters, and it was a lot of fun, and I hope raised a lot of money for one of our most important charitable causes in Glendale. The Glendale Historic Society did the Mad for Modern home tour on Sunday, where they highlighted my favorite period of architectural design, which is mid-century modern homes in the city. People are starting to really recognize this period as being important and valuable, and hopefully we'll have more people preserve those homes and not try to turn them into something that they're not, but instead restore them. and bring them up to their glory. And this home tour is a really great way of showing people modernism and for all of its, all of its wonderment, and inspiring people to renovate and take care of their own older homes. Congratulations to them. Antius was lovely. I also attended the installation for a new art exhibit, which is right here in our Civic Plaza outside of City Hall. It's called Water Finds a Way, and it's part of our public art program. And it's a big labyrinth made out of stone with a kind of reminiscent element of a water bubble in the middle and a rain tube when you turn and it makes the sound of rain, and it's all about the drought in California and in a very abstract way. The opening was great. The Theodore Payne Nursery, which specializes in native plants, was there spreading the word about planting native, because native plants know how to live with our droughts and our floods and don't need to be adapted, are natural, give habitats for insects and butterflies and birds and all kinds of our wildlife, and really we need a lot more natives out there, so it was great to see them participating. And there was an incredible musician who I sent Cindy Cleary to go and get information from, who plays musical instruments that he makes out of found objects. That was really an art exhibit into itself, so he'll come back and I'll let the community know when. Later that day, the Armenian American Orphans Christmas Fund had their telethon, and I was able to participate and hopefully helped raise some money for their cause. Now that we're sister cities with Gyumri in Armenia, it was really our time to shine and show that we're a good sister to that city. So I congratulate all of them. My goodness, what else? Oh, yesterday, Business Life had their 26th annual Women Achievers Business and Health Conference, and they honored many women in our community. It was about 25 women, and I'm not going to try to name them all, but congratulations to all of those overachieving women in our community. And I think that's enough. Busy week. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
The only thing I'll add that wasn't mentioned so far was the luncheon, which I believe some of my colleagues were at Brandview Collection for the Glendale Adventists medical mission to Armenia, where, according to which program, a group of doctors and other medical professionals will be visiting Armenia, I believe, northeastern Armenia to help with healthcare. Great turnout, incredible turnout, and looks like it's going to be. It was a fundraiser, and it's going to be a very good, and very successful mission.
Thank you, Mr. Carpetian.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I attended almost all of the events, community outreach meetings. We had two of them. The last one was at Maple Park last Saturday at 10 a.m. This is about the DIF funds, as Mr. Wiseman indicated. We invited community to come to the meeting, to attend the meeting, and let us know what do they think has to be done with these funds that we are going to get hopefully next year. And our next meeting will be Saturday, October 3rd, 10 a.m. at Pacific Community Center. Please come and attend and let us know what do you think has to be done with these DIF funds. Also attended Adam Schiff's roast, which was very, very fun. My colleagues did a great job. It was very funny, and we had a great time. Thank you, Glendale Healthy Kids. Housing Authority had a community meeting as well at Mann Elementary School, and we invited public again to come by and tell us about their neighborhood and what is it that they need in their neighborhood. Complain was their suggestions, and it was well attended, and I was very pleased by the attendance of our community. Also attended the Armenian American Orphans Christmas Fund event, as well as I want to tell you the Compassion in Action, which is Mission Armenia, as was indicated. Glendale Adventist is going to send a delegation to one of the cities in Armenia to have a working relationship with the hospitals over there. And on top of everything, I also attended 2 soccer games at AY, so my kids were playing, and it was very hot, but we had to go. So thank you, Mr. Mayor, and that's my report for this week.
Thank you. I just have one item. It's a good news, bad news story. The good news is, after years of trying hard, and working with multiple agencies, we seem to be ready for the installation of a quiet zone along San Fernando corridor. That's the good news. That roar you hear is from Pelanconi Estates. The bad news is, however, we are several $100,000 short for the installation of the equipment to effectuate that quiet zone. The good news is, if there are no objections by council and city manager, I will go to the MTA board this month with a motion allocating full funding for the equipment from a funding source to be determined. It may take some elbowing to get in line for the eventual installation and hopefully effectuation of a long-awaited quiet zone along San Fernando corridor. So if there's no objections,
No
I will
objections.
try.
We insist on it.
Well, you know,
I can't guarantee that, though, because I don't want to let everyone out there. I will try.
You know, we do have a member of the public who constantly tells us that we shouldn't be applying for outside money, that we should only fund anything with the money that comes from our tax base in Glendale, despite this other money is set up for cities like us to apply for. But I'm just throwing that out there. He's nodding his head.
Well,
But I agree.
Despite any objections,
go and get our
I'll
fair
give it a try.
share.
I'll
Go
give
and
it a
get
try.
our fair share from MTA.
We're squeezing someone, but it would be great. We're very close to having this a reality, and thank you to the community who has fought so hard for this to become a reality, as well as council, who has worked with all the issues involving the closing and the upgrades, as well as the public works staff, who's not here. Steve Zern was on it for a while, and John O'Bagdanian, and Rubik, I know, was working very hard on that. So we're almost there, and we should probably have a party when that
Yeah,
happens.
well, that's been going on for like about 10 years, hasn't it?
Yeah,
They've been
it has been
working.
a long
They have been
time.
working to get this for about 10 years.
It's been very
so
difficult
it's
to
wonderful news.
place. So maybe we'll have a quiet where everyone's just. What do those basketball players do after they hit the three-pointer? Like that. Okay. Thank you. Enough.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Enough levity.
Good.
Let's get on to serious business. Next item, please.
Item number 6 is community event announcements. This is a 3-minute reserved portion for announcing events taking place in our community.
Thank you. The first group of speakers is Armand Medehani and Marina Kachatrayan.
Good evening, Mayor Najarian and honorable council members. My name is Armin Mehdikhani, board member with ABNBR, and we're here on behalf of Armenian Bone Marrow Donor Registry. Our organization mission is to save lives by recruiting and providing matched, related and unrelated donors for bone marrow or stem cell transplantation for all Armenian and non-Armenian patients worldwide. Patients who are suffering from leukemia and other life-threatening blood-related illnesses. Due to your unique genetic makeup of Armenians, it is nearly impossible to find suitable matches among existing international donor registries. Hence, the importance of establishing a registry that would help facilitate recruiting and identifying match unrelated bone marrow donors for ethnic Armenians. Since our inceptions, we have recruited over 27,000 donors from 22 countries over 4 continents and processed patients' requests from 43 countries all over the world and facilitated 20 stem cell transplants. Thank you very much for your attention.
As part of our outreach, we have an annual walkathon to raise awareness in the Glendale community, and we want to encourage members of all ages to participate in this life-saving cause. Our 10th annual Walk for Life will take place this Saturday, October 3rd, and we would like to invite the Glendale community and all the city council members to join us. This year's walk will take place on October 3rd, as I mentioned, and it will be a loop that begins at Glendale Memorial Hospital, going north on Central to the Armenian Embassy on Central in Lexington, after which it will return back to the Glendale Memorial Hospital. For further information about the walk or about Armenian Bone Marrow Donor Registry in general, you can go to www.abmdr.am. We look forward to seeing you all, and we will hope that you will join us and help us save lives.
And incidentally, I just want to mention one of our members who's sitting here has been a donor for stem cell, and how cool it is to save a life, and she's still here and available to donate more if needed. So thank you.
Did you want you want to introduce the video?
Why don't you introduce her if she's not opposed to that?
This is Paulette, and if she would like to say a few words.
My name is Paulette Melikian, and last year, on September 10th, I was lucky to match to a 10-year-old boy in Turkey. I don't know him. I'm hoping that one day I will meet him. But the reason I matched this boy is because of Armenian Bone Marrow Registry. If I had not registered 9 years ago, and if Armenian Bone Marrow Registry had not shared their database with nationally, internationally, that boy wouldn't be saved. So I'm healthy, nothing happened to me. I haven't been healthier and happier. I would encourage everybody to come join, and possibly, if they are lucky, they can save another lucky person's life. So.
The joy in your face, your facial expression says it all. I mean, there is nothing else you need to say. I mean, congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next speaker is Kara Sergile.
Did you? It's up to you, Mayor and Council. There was a video that the Bone Marrow Walk for Life had. It's entirely up to you if you'd like to view it or move on.
Is it queued up?
It is queued up.
And the length? 50? Okay. Roll it.
On October 3rd, will you walk again to save just one? Genocide couldn't stop us. Leukemia doesn't stand a chance. Take part in the Armenian Bone Marrow Donor Registry's 10th annual Walk of Life. Saving lives for decades.
Thank you. Kara Sergile.
Good evening, Mayor Najarian, members of City Council. Nice to see you all. As Mayor Najarian said, my name is Kara Sergile. There's no E on the end of it.
I am accent aigu.
Accent aigu.
No.
Accent grave. I just have to tell the group prior to this, I'm really touched by this. I used to be a bone marrow transplant coordinator for both UCLA Medical Center and Kaiser Permanente, and the work that they're doing is so valuable and needed. So sidebar to say that. I'm a resident of Glendale, parent of two daughters, and fortunately was able to bring the Walktober event to the city of Glendale back in 2009, and have been able to organize that event for the past 7 years. I'm here tonight with Alan to announce Walktober. It's coming just around the corner. Next Wednesday, October 7th, is our International Walk to School Day event. This is going to be the 5th year that the city of Glendale has officially sponsored the walk, but we've had schools participating for over the last 7 years. We started out with one school in 2009 and hit a maximum last year of 34 schools. So we're on target to meet that same level of involvement, engagement. We had a citywide planning meeting today, and all the schools are revved up and ready to go, and we're really, really excited.
So Walk to School Day is sponsored by the City of Glendale's Safe Routes to School program, the Glendale Unified School District, of course, the Glendale Council PTA, and Walk by Glendale. This annual event, and as Kara said, we're in our 5th annual event, encourages students and families to commit to a healthy lifestyle by walking to school. It also raises awareness about the importance for both pedestrian and driver safety, which we know is an important concern in our community. So with that, Kara has some pedestrian safety tips that she would like to share with us.
Great. These have been shared and circulated to all the schools, and it was especially pertinent just on Friday last week. There was a Wilson student hit, fortunately not injured severely, but this is, again, these events and issues are happening every single day in our community. So reminders to the community, and especially for next Wednesday on Walk to School Day, encouraging all walkers to use the crosswalks, to obey and respect the crossing guards, cross only at corners so drivers can see you. Last week, the injury was related to the child not understanding the countdown signals on our lights. So reminding walkers that the countdown signal, when it's flashing and the red hand is up and the numbers are decreasing, do not start to cross. You actually need to wait until the next light signal. Looking all ways, left, right, and left before crossing the street to see cars, pedestrians, and bicyclists. Making eye contact with the drivers of the vehicles. For students especially, not wearing headphones or texting or talking on a cell phone while crossing the street. We shared some very interesting data connected to this morning. The age group of 13 to 19 years old has had a 25% increase in being hit by a car as a pedestrian because of distracted walking. So this is really important for our teenagers and high schoolers. Never crossing the street between parked cars and jaywalking anywhere, especially near schools, is extremely dangerous. Thank you. We've put it out on your calendars. If any of you are available to walk, we'd love to have you come out and walk with your schools. I know, Vartan, you've got a big one at Verdugo Woodlands, and Zare at Keppel, and Laura and Paula have walked with us in the past, so I encourage you all to reach out.
What time do we meet? What time do we meet on Wednesday morning?
It depends. There are right now 29 schools signed up, and they have varying start times. So if you let me know your availability, I will plug you in with the school.
Okie doke.
Great. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, and I have your pedestrian safety awareness.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Yvette Davis.
Sunrise Rotary again.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Yvette Davis. I am the current president of the Glendale Sunrise Rotary.
Which Rotary?
Glendale Sunrise, the best one, of course. I'm here today to invite everybody here to come to our Glendale Fire Department Awards Luncheon that we hold in conjunction with the fire department. That will be held next Wednesday, October 7th at the Hilton in Glendale, and that will be at 11:30, and we invite you to come see the winners of the awards presented by the fire department for outstanding service, as well as awards to community members who have gone above and beyond and have earned awards from the fire department, as well as the award from the Rotary to a community member who is exemplifies the service above self motto that we use every day. Chief Probst, anything to add?
Sure. Good evening, Mayor Najarian, council members, Mrs. Beers, and city staff. Tom Probst, Battalion Chief and President-elect of Glendale Sunrise Rotary. This is an event that our fire department is extremely proud of. We've held this for several years, and this is a day where Chief Fish and our fire department will be recognizing many civilians in our community that have been active, have performed heroic acts that have gone above and beyond what we would normally call of a civilian. And we'd like to recognize them publicly. As well as we've seen earlier, our 3 paramedics that we have. We have many more men and women of our fire department that have risen and led like those 3 gentlemen in our fire department community. And we'll be recognizing many of them as well for their acts that they have performed and conducted as well. So we hope that we see you all there. And we are very proud of our members of our fire department and the community that we're going to recognize. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Before you leave, I have one question for our president of Rotary, Sunrise Rotary. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
We always look for new members, right, for our clubs.
Yes.
Okay, I have 3 nominations for you: Mr. Mike Garcia, Phil Lanzafin, and Jess Duran.
I invite you guys to come to our meeting Friday morning, 7 a.m. at Oakmont. We're always looking for great people like yourselves. And you guys get to hang out with me every Friday morning.
there you
Nothing
go.
better than that. Well, thank you all. I have some flyers for community members to pass out, as well as some in the back if anybody's interested.
Don't
Thank
forget
you.
the applications, please.
Yes, come speak with me, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you then.
Walk in the morning and
Next speaker, Dr. Armina Karpetyan.
that name sounds familiar.
I know.
That's Vartan's
Yes.
daughter.
I deserve that. All right.
Thank you for the compliment. Good evening, Mayor Najarian and distinguished council members and staff, and happy early birthday. Well, I'm here to make an announcement, and no, I'm not pregnant. I would like to make an announcement on behalf of the organizing committee. Well,
Just passed out.
organizing committee of the Glendale Health Festival. I think every single presenter and speaker, they talked about the health and well-being of our community. It was really interesting that, almost all of them, they brought the issue, all about health and being healthy. I'm a longtime member of the Armenian American Medical Society, and this year I have the pleasure of being a part of the organizing committee for the Glendale Health Festival. I'm sure many of you have attended that event in the past. The 6th annual Glendale Health Festival will take place on November 7th, 2015, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Civic Auditorium at 1401 North Verdugo Road, and that's the flyer on the, on the screen. The festival is free and open to the entire community, so don't even bring your wallet. The Glendale Health Festival is organized much like a visit to your doctor's office. At the tri-age area, volunteers take pertinent information from participants and make recommendations about available health screenings and services. Participants will have blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar measurements taken and then sit down with a licensed physician who will make individualized recommendations. If there are specialty questions, any army of specialty physicians, such as cardiologists, neurologists, pediatricians, etc., will be on site to make recommendations. Licensed eye care specialists will be on site to perform eye screenings and indicated dilated eye exams. Participants can visit our dental screening area, which I will be one of the volunteer dentists who will be doing screenings, for an evaluation and consultation with licensed dentists. Breast cancer and cervical cancer screenings will also be offered to appropriate patients. CPR training will be offered by certified educators, as well as flu shots will be administered on site. In addition, education of the whole family will be available on conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, proper nutrition, heart disease, cancer awareness, mental health, and more. Don't forget to bring your expired or unused medications to dispose. This year, for the first time, we will be offering free bus ride to the Civic Auditorium. Visit the website www.glendalehealthfestival.com for more information. The festival will also feature music, entertainment, and food, all free of charge. Watch local performances as well as activities for kids and families. We will be providing healthy lunches, including chicken, rice, vegetables, along with fruits and bottled water. Ample free parking on site will be provided. Hope we will see you all and all the community members on November 7th to work towards a healthier community. Do we have a video of Mr. No? Okay, so this was the flyer. Thank you so much. I hope I will see you all there.
Can I
Thank
ask
you.
you a question? I don't know if you said it. You were talking. There was so much stuff.
I know.
It's hard to keep up.
I know. It's only 3 minutes.
Are you giving the free flu vaccine this year?
Yes.
Terrific. That is a great offer, great benefit.
Absolutely.
So I hope people go. I just read that this year the flu vaccine is much more effective than in past years, that they kind of nailed it this year.
Yes, we are doing a lot of new things this year. As I said, the old and unused or expired medications disposal, which we never offered before, and also the flu vaccine and the free ride, the bus ride, and a lot of things. So please come and join us.
Let's remind everybody it's at the Glendale Civic Auditorium.
Glendale Civic Auditorium, November 7th, 10 to 3 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Michelle Roberts.
Good evening, Mayor Najarian, City Council members. I'm really excited to be here tonight to announce that the YWCA of Glendale will be participating this year in the month of October in the Allstate Foundation Purple Purse Challenge. And what this is we were selected, we're one of 160 domestic violence service agencies nationwide that will be participating and partnering with Allstate to have this online donation fundraising event as well as a public awareness campaign. And basically, Allstate has partnered with domestic violence agencies to increase community awareness of the fact that many victims of domestic violence also suffer from financial abuse. And that's the reason that many people stay in abusive relationships, because they can't afford to leave them or they don't have the resources to leave them. So what's unique about Purple Purse is that it is an entirely online campaign. Only donations that are made online to the website, which is www.crowdrise.com/YWCA of Glendale, California. Only donations made online through that site will count toward the challenge. Other unique things about this challenge are that the Allstate Foundation has many mini challenges throughout the campaign, which runs from this Thursday, October 1st, through the 27th, and they will be adding additional funding. For example, the most number of new donations during a week enters a challenge to win. The highest fundraiser wins an additional $100,000, and so on. So there are additional challenges. Last year, the organization that won was from the Chicago area, and they were able to raise over $400,000 on this online campaign. So our goals are challenging and lofty. We might not raise $400,000, but we certainly invite the community to go online during October between the 1st and 27th to the site that you see up on your screen and donate. Donations as small as $10 will count toward the challenge, and every dollar that we raise gets to stay with the YWCA of Glendale. And one other unique thing about the challenge is on the CrowdRise website, you have an opportunity to create your own fundraising website, so that we're hoping to enlist other people to go ahead and invite their social networks to participate in the fundraising as well. So we thank the city for helping us promote this campaign, and we certainly invite you all to participate. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Ron Farina.
Good evening, Mayor Najarian, City Council members, senior management staff of the city. I'd like to call up Sharon Townsend from the Glendale Healthy Kids. Join me up here at the podium. I'm here this evening to invite the entire community to the 24th annual Fritz Coleman Comedy Night. It's coming up Sunday, November the 1st. It's going to be 7 p.m. It's going to be at the Glendale Center Theater, where it's always been held. The tickets are only going to be $20, and we're expecting a sellout. This year, talking over with Fritz Coleman, we've agreed that it's time to invite another community partner to partake in the fundraising. So we've invited Glendale Healthy Kids to join us. So they'll be selling tickets as well for the benefit of Glendale Healthy Kids. We think they're a marvelous organization, and we're very proud and happy to partner with them. And we'll probably be back next week with another announcement, and also maybe a PSA from Fritz Coleman himself. Anyway, it's great. I've talked to Fritz as recently as Friday. He's got 5 stand-up comics already lined up. Each one of them does a marvelous routine. It's always enjoyed, and it's a great venue, having a theater in the round. So hope everybody can mark their calendars and plan to join us. And we're expecting a sellout, so get your tickets early. Contact Glendale Healthy Kids or the American Red Cross. Red Cross will be selling tickets at their office, and I think Glendale Healthy Kids will as well. And next week we'll have an online site for you as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Look forward to that.
Yeah. We go every year. It's just fabulous. So
Very
hopefully
fun.
everybody will get tickets.
Tell Fritz his weather forecasts are a joke. Come on. Lighten it up a little bit. Come on, where's the cooling trend they promised us? Don't get on me. I heard his report. Next speaker is Shant Sahakian.
Hi, Mr. Mayor, City Council, and staff. Before we get into this, I have to say that Mike Garcia, Phil Lanzafame, and Jess Duran will also be receiving a Kiwanis application immediately after this meeting. We're going to make sure we keep this balanced here. My name is Sean Saka. I'm here representing the ANCA Professional Network, and I have Peter Hosharian representing the Armenian Bar Association, and Tigrana Zakarian representing ANC Glendale. And I'll let Tigrana tell you a little bit about a free legal clinic we have coming up for the entire community.
Thank you, Sean. Good evening, Mayor Najarian, City Council members, staff, and community members. My name is Tigrana Zakarian, and as Sean mentioned, this upcoming Wednesday, October 7th, we have our free legal clinic event in partnership with the Armenian Bar Association and the ANC Professionals Network. It's going to be a free legal clinic event, and it's open to the entire community from 5:30 until 8 p.m., and we have been extending outreach efforts to the Verdugo Job Center, the Salvation Army, as well as other various community organizations and recreation centers within the city of Glendale. And I will let my colleague Peter give you the other specifics about the event. Thank you. And I'll go ahead and pass around some flyers, just so you know.
As Tigrana was saying, this will be a confidential consultations, one-on-one confidential consultations in dealing with areas including immigration, landlord-tenant, bankruptcy, criminal matters, civil matters, wills, trusts, estates, business issues, employment issues, family law, and small claims. We have about 20 to 25 attorneys who have already committed for this event, which is a feat in and of itself, considering that the title includes the word free. But I kid. We have a great group of people that are always searching for ways to assist and help our community. And I wanted to emphasize that this is not an effort to solicit business for attorneys. This is purely an effort to give guidance to our community and serve our community. And it will be, the attendees will be served on a first-come, first-served basis, and additional parking will be available at the St. Mary's Armenian Apostolic Church, which is right next door. So I encourage everybody to join us next Wednesday evening.
I'm assuming our two attorneys up here are participating, correct?
Indeed. Enough participating.
I didn't see them on the list, so it's 26 and 27.
Participating in which way?
Res ipsa loquitur, Ms. Friedman.
What did you say?
And just wanted to add, if you have any questions, please call 818-243-3444. And there's no registration required, so you can just come and we'll be happy to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We look forward to that. And I don't have any other cards for this section of oral communications. So we will close this portion and move on to the next item.
Mr. Mayor and Council, next item on the agenda under 8A action items is Director of Community Services on Parks and Community Development regarding award of the Housing Related Parks Program grant for 2014 designated program year. 8A1 is a resolution authorizing city manager or his designee to execute the state standard agreement for a Housing Related Parks Program grant to accept a grant in the amount of $619,650 for the Palmer Park Improvement Project. 8A2 is a resolution of appropriation to appropriate $619,650 in housing-related parks program grant funds from the State of California Department of Housing and Community Development for the Palmer Park Improvement Project.
Ms. Beers?
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, this is definitely a coup for the City of Glendale to have the opportunity to be awarded over $600,000. We don't have a PowerPoint presentation for you. However, Jess Duran has a very short, brief presentation that he'd like to present to you. With that, Jess?
Thank you, Ms. Beers. Mayor Najarian, members of the City Council, on February 10th of this year, the City Council approved a resolution authorizing the submittal of a grant application to the State of California Department of Housing and Community Development for a housing-related parks grant program. Subsequently, in June, we were notified that we were awarded a grant in the amount of $619,650, and last month we received the agreement for execution. This is actually our second housing-related parks grant for this Palmer Park Improvement Project. The first one coming 2 years ago when we received a $360,000 grant for the same project. The state housing-related parks grant program is an incentive program, which is like a competitive entitlement program that rewards cities for their production of affordable housing units based on a designated program year. So there is an application process, so the state does make you earn the funds, where you must substantiate and qualify your affordable unit production down to the number of bedrooms and the level of affordability of rents for each unit. And you must select a park project that qualifies as an infill project in a low-income, dense neighborhood with a well-thought-through plan and with demonstrated community participation, such as what we have with the Palmer Park project. So the application process was very much a team effort between the Community Services and Parks Department and the Community Development Department. The Palmer Park project has completed design work and plans and specifications, and it is being submitted to the City Council next week for authorization to bid. The project will add new picnic areas, new site furnishings, and landscaping, a new wading pool, new children's play areas, new and expanded basketball courts, and a new skate area with street features. The estimated cost and council-approved budget for the construction of the project is $2.5 to $2.6 million. So this project is very effectively leveraged between CDBG funds, totaling $755,701, the housing-related parks grant funds, totaling $980,200, and development impact fee funds in the amount of $946,411. So that's what this grant is all about. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
I have a card from the public. Why don't we take that and then contemplate any questions? Mike Mulhill.
Good evening, Mayor Najarian and council members. My name is Mike Mohill. Another welfare check for the city of Glendale for upgrading Palmer Park in South Glendale. Without grants, we would not be able to upgrade our park services. According to the staff report, our city employees will work real hard to find what troubled area of our city would qualify for the $600,000 grant. Palmer Park will be receiving money for upgrading landscaping and park equipment. I'm sure our city manager and council members were relieved to know that the grant did not have any strings attached or require our city to come up with matching funds. The bankrupt cities of San Bernardino, Santa Ana, and Stockton also relied on grant funding for parks and other needed city services. Our parks are dirty and an embarrassment to our once proud city, who used to pride itself for new and well-maintained parks. Currently, about 90% of Glendale's parks are funded by federal, state, and county grants. Grants are great, only as a supplement, but not as the sole or only source of revenue. Our salary and pension debt to our city employees is why we continue to have no money to maintain our parks and other needed city services. About 18 years ago, about 30% of the general fund paid for the salary and pensions of our fire and police department. Today, 80% of the general fund is required. About 30% of the city employees have gross annual salaries between $100,000 to over $200,000 plus. Our pension debt to the corrupt and irresponsible CalPERS pension system is $1.4 billion and still growing. Councilman Friedman, rather than spending millions of dollars for the salaries and the pensions of our union workforce, we could use that money instead, rather than going for grants that you put down a few minutes ago. We have a park manager. We have a parking manager who gets $96,000 a year as a salary. We have employees throughout the city that are bloated compared to the private industry. That's why we have no money for our parks. Glendale used to pride itself for parks. Verdugo Park. Remember when that first came around years ago? Palmer was beautiful. The parks over there on Mountain North Glendale. But now they're all dirty. And why are they all dirty? Because all that park money is being shifted to the salaries and the pensions of our union workforce. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moho. Ms. Friedman?
Well, I just want to say first, I don't think our parks are horribly dirty. I go to the playgrounds at Nibley Park and Brand Park now several times a week. I'm there quite often, and they're both lovely and very well taken care of, despite being extremely heavily used by a lot of people. But I just wanted to say that, you say that word union as though there's something wrong with it, and the unions are what built the middle class in this country, and I think that we should all keep that in mind. Thanks.
Thank you. Since we're on the subject, Mr. Mohill, you use that word grant as if there's something wrong with it. Well, it's wrong. Grants are what help build the cities in this country. Because the way it works is this. The residents of the city of Glendale pay taxes, both state and federal. Those go into the state and federal budgets. Then the different departments of the state offer back to the individual cities, or from the federal government, offer back to the individual cities opportunities for grant funding. We're getting our money back from the state and the federal government because we pay them the taxes. So it would be derelict of us not to attempt to return our taxpayers' money back to the very community from which it was generated. But there's not a question in that. No, Mr. Moore. Save it for oral communication.
30 seconds?
No, Mr.
30
Moore.
seconds.
Save it for oral communication.
Because grant funding should be supplemental and not the
Mr.
only
Mohill,
source of funding.
Mr. Mohill, we
Thank
have
you.
rules. We have rules here that are also the foundation of our society. We've heard the report from Mr. Duran. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll move the item.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Council members Devine?
Yes.
Friedman?
Yes.
Garpetian?
Yes.
Sinanian?
Yes.
Mayor Najarian?
Yes. Okay.
That was for both 8A and 8A1 and 8A2.
Yes.
So next item is oral communication. This is a portion that will be for 5 minutes. Discussion is limited to items not part of this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. Council may question or respond to a speaker, but there will be no debate or decision. The City Council may refer the matter to the appropriate department for an investigation and a report.
Mr. Mohill, aren't rules a wonderful thing? Now you can come up and speak for 5 minutes. You don't have to shout down the mayor. And I will let you speak, and I promise I won't interrupt you. Well, as long as you stay on point and maintain the decorum of the chambers.
Good evening, Mayor, Najarian, council members, and the viewing audience. My name is Mike Mohill. A couple of weeks ago, I presented a PowerPoint of the City of Glendale's pension system, where firefighters and police officers' retirement benefits after 30 years of service would be 90% of their last year's bloated salary for life. Management benefits of 75% of their last year's salary bloated, and for life, by the way, and general employees' retirement benefits of 60% of their last year's bloated salary for life. I also stated that it would cost the taxpayers today $1.4 billion to terminate our CalPERS retirement program. Councilman Friedman immediately said this is not what current employees are receiving. Her eyes moved to our city manager, Ochoa, to explain. Mr. Ochoa made one of his usual off-the-cuff snide remarks and proceeded to state our unfunded pension debt obligation was not $1.4 billion, as I have been saying numerous times this year. Mr. Ochoa stated our pension debt was only about $400 million and implied this was not a great deal of money. Mr. Ochoa failed to identify what the about $400 million plus represented. This $400 million plus pension debt is only for the already retired employees. The $1.4 billion is the amount of pension debt for already retired employees, plus the debt obligation of our current 1,300 working employees. Additionally, we have $225 million unfunded debt for a Cadillac post-employee health insurance plan for current retired employees who continue receiving this health plan till age 65 when Medicare kicks in. A total of over $625 million unfunded debt and still growing for just current retirees employees. Mr. Ochoa further bragged about the relatively new two-tier age requirement of 50 or 55, and this could also be extended to a third tier. However, our city manager failed to mention that no matter how many tiers he thinks is financially prudent, our union employees will still be receiving 90%, 75%, and 60% of their last year's salary as their bloated pensions for life. Folks, this is the information Mrs. Freeman could or would not tell the public a couple of weeks ago about our current employees' salaries and pension benefits, and had our city manager take the heat. Mrs. Freeman has approved every water and electric rate increase, approved transferring every year millions of dollars from GWP to the general fund, and approved increasing old fees and creating new fees. Is it true, Mrs. Freeman, since you became a councilwoman in 2009, you no longer produce movies or go to swap meets to sell your artifacts? Is it true, before you were elected to council, your husband, Guillaume Lemon, worked as an employee for landscape architect Larry Tyson, and since your election, your husband formed his own landscape business? Is it true, since you were elected, for every one of those ugly mega apartment complexes for which you voted in downtown Glendale was money in the bank for your husband's firm? Is it true that the developer Mark Nathanson and architect Efren Oliveras uses your husband's landscaping firm for many of their projects in Glendale and throughout Southern California? If I am wrong about any of these questions, I just ask you, now is the time to tell the public I am wrong. Having taken good care of developers, architects, government unions, and helping her husband secure work, Councilman Freeman would like to be your next 43rd Assembly representative. Thank you.
Well, since the questions were asked, you are wrong. My husband has not worked for Mark Nathanson. He's not worked for any of the developers who have built in the downtown that I'm aware of. I don't believe he's worked for Efren Olivares, although he has worked for homeowners who have used Efren as an architect, who have separately hired my husband. That's possible. But he has not worked for Mark Nathanson, Mr. Mohill. If you have any evidence of that, you can please let me know. I don't know where you're getting this from. He hasn't worked for any of the downtown developers. He's primarily a residential landscape architect who does a lot of work for people in Glendale, people in Altadena, Pasadena. He's done a lot of work in Brentwood, some work in Hancock Park. I'd say most of his projects are not even in the city of Glendale. He did used to work for an architect named Kathy Serra. He's never worked for Larry Tyson. So you're getting this all very confused. Since you're wondering, my husband used to be a film editor. He went back to UCLA, got a degree in landscape architecture. After that, he worked for a couple of landscape architecture firms, and he did start his own company. And I'm very, very proud of him for building that company through the recession until now. And the reason his company is successful is because he is an extremely talented landscape architect. And I may be biased, but I believe that, and so do his clients. His business comes primarily through word of mouth. If you want to talk to some of the people in Glendale that he's worked for, in case you're looking for someone to replace the turf in your yard, he does that very, very well, and he specializes in drought-resistant landscapes and does not do that much commercial. So no, he hasn't worked for those large developers. In terms of me selling my stuff, I have not produced any films since about 2000. That's about when I left the business, long before I went on city council. I don't sell at swap meets, in case people are wondering. I sell vintage jewelry and decorative arts through my own business. And yeah, it's been cut way back since I've gone on city council, just because of the time that it takes. That's the sacrifice a lot of us make when we go and do this job, that our businesses have to suffer. I still do some shows. I do the LA Modernism Show every year in Los Angeles, the Palm Springs Modernism Show in Palm Springs, and every November I go to New York to do a show called the Piers Show. I'll be doing that again this year. That's primarily where I do the majority of my sales, including through private customers, and I've got a lot of private customers who have been buying from me for many, many years. I've had this business since about 2000, maybe even a little bit before. You seem to be very curious about my personal background. You've brought it up before. That's it. So if you're trying to imply that there's some kind of wrongdoing, bring it on if you have any facts. But I think that lobbing these kinds of accusations is really, I wouldn't say beneath you, but it's certainly, to go on television and try to imply something without having any facts about anything is really just a very low thing to do, Mr. Mohill. And as someone who comes here a lot, I would hope better from you, really.
Thank you. Next speaker is Victoria Valentine.
Good evening. I've written it down. First, what I heard here, I have a groschen to add. I remember San Fernando project being a money waster, and a lot of money was wasted, and it was a big disaster before it got done right. I may be wrong. Now, this purple little flower, was that a forget-me-not? I've seen it as a postage stamp. Is that true? Has to do with this?
Two separate causes, but...
Oh, okay. That's nice. I missed Mr. Weaver. He was the one that would speak and tell the way things are. He would know and say it, and we would learn about the things. And he used to be always out and about. You run into him in the city. Now it's Miss Friedman, and that thing is nice. I run into her a lot. I miss Howard Scott, or is it Scott Howard? One day I'll get it right. Did he leave his glasses for you, Mr. Garcia? You need them. I think it was the glasses. What? And where's Mr. Zern? Mr. Turn, where is he? Why isn't he here? Anyway. What a difference. That was before the cell phones came out. Now, out of 12, 3 are on text on Facebook here. So 1/4 is on Facebook. So it'll just get increased. Next time I'll be talking to the Facebooks, I guess. Okay, I have 10 requests from the city. The Canyon is the forgotten neighborhood, and it's in need of a 50-year upgrade. Yes, there's been no change for 50 years. Chevy Chase is the most beautiful city in Glendale. Tourists are buzzed here, especially that it has 2 historical buildings on it. Have there been improvements? Not much. The speed limit was updated by an increase. The new signs invite bicyclists from all over the county to come out here. I hope the city is advising them of hazards. If they get killed, they will sue the city. Nothing has been made to make the traffic safe. I went and I saw at 2621 block. That's the block that has a safe signage for a curve. The twisted curves remain unmarked. Same type of accidents repeat year after year after year after year after year. How many years have I been here? The collision 2 weeks ago was horrific, was terrible. Was there shooting? Deadly weapons? Yes. There was a deadly weapon, the speeding car. And it had no sign that it was supposed to turn that way. All it takes is those arrows, 3 little arrows that this other block has. This is happening on the block of 2526 Chevy Chase. 1 block. Would it be possible to mark a curve clearly? I'm asking the councilman. Would it be possible? Would it be possible to remove the wiggly sign on that corner? What does that mean? Does that mean the driver is to wiggle and get on the curb and hit somebody? Would it be possible to identify shoulders where cars should never be allowed to park? It wasn't necessary 50 years ago because the cars were parked in the driveways. Now people come from other areas, they park the cars on Chevy Chase, they take their bicycle off the rack and travel 12 miles downtown to their jobs. Would it be possible to assure the residents a safe exit out of driveways? Would it be possible to have well-working lights? It gets really dark. Would it be possible for police to share the accidents on Chevy Chase? Would it be possible to get the city of Los Angeles to come in and fix it? Would it be possible to get the sign as soon as possible? Thank you.
Thank you. Sharon Weissman is our last speaker.
Thank you, Mayor Najarian. I'm Sharon Weissman from far north Glendale and the proud daughter of a union man. And I want to thank Councilmember Friedman for speaking at our Crescenta Valley Community Association meeting Thursday, and also Michael DeGhetto from Glendale Water and Power, the assistant manager on the water side. And a third member of our panel was Judy Tejada from the Crescenta Valley Water District Board. And the community appreciated hearing all about the things going on with water and conservation and what to anticipate. And also, Councilman Friedman, I was glad to hear about your story of your immigrant husband and his successful small business. I think that's a great story for America to hear. And I also want to mention that Deukmejian Park is a wonderful place to visit, even if there's not an eclipse. The moon isn't full tonight, but it's going to be lovely, and that's a great place to get grounded and leave your electronic devices behind and enjoy a wonderful piece of open space that we need a lot more of. And I wish there were more bus service up there so people in South Glendale that are part poor could take more advantage of that wonderful regional resource. And I also wanted to note, obviously I didn't prepare tonight, I just was listening and there are a lot of things came to mind. You don't have to be an Armenian to to get on the bone marrow registration. I was on for many years. I got called in once for testing, but I didn't match, and now I've aged out, so I didn't have the opportunity to donate. But everybody should do it. You never know who's going to match, who's going to need your help. And I want to thank city staff, particularly those who go for grants. It's my understanding that Californians pay more in federal taxes than we receive back in federal services. So it would be a really stupid idea not to go for any grants that we could possibly get. So I encourage you to continue to do it. And thank you. I appreciate that. I also appreciate staff for all the thankless work they do, and especially the elected officials for all the thankless efforts. You get a pittance part-time salary for more than a full-time job, and I thank you all for participating. And about pensions, it's my personal opinion that the problem in general with pensions is that corporate America is way too stingy and are rewarding CEOs and top managers with golden parachutes whether they go bankrupt or not, and workers aren't getting their fair share. I'm very thankful for Warner Brothers, a private corporation. I have a pension for life that I paid into dearly in my working years, and I think that is much more reasonable. We are a market economy, and pensioners are your absolute perfect consumer. They're not taking away jobs from anybody. They have spending cash. We can go to restaurants on off hours. It's really foolish to try to shrink pensions, and if you think it's some sort of unfairness between union workers or government workers who get pensions and corporate workers who don't, work on the corporations who are depriving the labor of their fair share and paying excessive salaries to managers who really aren't producing much of anything. And I say that after having worked for a corporation as a middle manager. Anyway, thank you for your time this evening, and again, thank you. And I appreciate all the work everyone does here in the city. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I don't have any other cards. We have no new business. We do. 2 items then. Let's start with Ms. Friedman.
I'd like to move that the city attorney is hereby authorized to file a lawsuit against a third party. The third party shall be identified and the nature of the litigation shall be disclosed to anyone making a request to receive said information upon the filing and service of said lawsuit.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Council members Devine?
Yes.
Friedman?
Yes.
Garpetian?
Yes.
Sinanian?
Yes.
Mayor Najarian?
Yes. Ms. Devine.
Yes. I would like to move that the city attorney be and hereby is authorized to enter into a retainer agreement with Gutierrez, Preciado, and House LLP, that's Art Preciado, to assist the police department in connection with the personnel matter and to represent the police department's interests as counsel for the appointing authority. The retainer agreement shall, in addition to other provisions, contain a fee cap for the handling of said matter.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Council members Devine?
Yes.
Friedman?
Yes.
Garpetian?
Yes.
Sinanian?
Yes.
Mayor Najarian?
Yes. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
We're adjourned.